The moment you walk through the front door, you could already picture it: bigger kitchen, extra bedroom, driveway wide enough for 2 cars, and a basketball hoop. The raise had finally come through. The agent called it a smart move, and the upgrade felt like the reward for every late night and every year you'd put in. But somewhere around year 3, the math quietly turns on you. The house that was supposed to prove you made it becomes the exact reason you can't. And by the time that feeling sets in, most families are too far inside the decision to walk it back. Here's what nobody selling real estate will ever show you. The bigger house, viewed through the eyes of your money, isn't a milestone or an investment. It's the largest, slowest, most socially approved wealth transfer of your entire adult life. Start with the number everyone fixates on, because that number is a trick. The median existing home in America sold for C by Ish T by in Artsenling Arshalut at 500 Lodern U over 30 years with 500 Arshers down, that's roughly our dollars. Ebat Arser War, monthly in principal and interest, about a quarter of the median family's take-home pay. Already a serious commitment. Now meet Marcus and Renee. They decide they've outgrown their median home and upgrade to T-Biter Lings. To most people, that feels like a Herbert by Bashar Ling difference, a big jump, but a one-time jump. That's exactly the trick. The purchase price is the smallest cost a bigger house will ever charge you. On the Chi-Biler, Ling home principal and interest alone jump to San Wubak Sisters monthly, an extra Sibite before a single light turns on or a tax bill arrives. Over 30 years, that gap alone exceeds $500,000 in additional payments, with most early dollars feeding bank interest rather than actual ownership. But the mortgage is only the part they showed you. Bankrate's hidden cost study puts average annual home ownership expenses beyond the mortgage. At Urser E, property taxes are charged as a percentage of assessed value, climbing every year as assessments climb. Homeowners insurance has surged nearly by between Artsenling Isher Jolent, Artsenling Artesidaloni. Utilities scale with every room you heat and cool, including the ones nobody enters. Maintenance runs to 500 Rs of home value annually on a T-by Ling house that stirs Wubbat every single year, forever in roofs and water heaters and the 1,000 quiet failures of a structure built from wood. Stack it honestly. Extra mortgage, higher taxes, higher insurance, heavier utilities, bigger maintenance bills. Marcus and Renee's upgrade doesn't cost Urbek Body R. Ling once. It costs roughly Ida Wubat more every single month for the rest of their working lives. Now, look at what that E-Wubit monthly could have become instead. On the S&P, BAT has returned roughly 500 annually across its history, the figure both Fidelity and JP. Morgan Anchor long-term planning around. Invested consistently at that rate for 30 years, Wubat monthly becomes over $10 million. The choice between the median home and the upgrade was never really a choice between 2 houses. It was a choice between a comfortable retirement and a 7-figure one. Marcus and Renee didn't lose Arbek Basharar, Ling. They lost $3 million, handed over cheerfully, ease Wubat at a time, while feeling like they were winning. Even at the conservative inflation-adjusted return of 500 Chi, that same monthly investment grows to over $1 million in real purchasing power. The bigger house, by any honest calculation, costs a fortune they will never see because they're living inside it. Menjance, here's what makes the psychology so dangerous. We are buying more space for fewer people than at any point in history. In the early Itzenjol Tierschers, the median new home was Wubat square feet for households averaging over 3 people, roughly Sidbai Tishers T square feet per person. By Artenling Arsers, the median new home exceeded Standby square feet for households averaging ardent wove people around Jubai Ars's square feet per person. In 2 generations, Americans nearly doubled the space each person occupies while families got smaller. The formal living room nobody sits in, the guest bedroom used 4 nights a year, the bonus room quietly reclassified as storage. We heat, cool, insure, tax, and maintain all of it every single day, whether anyone walks through it or not. Yeah? Then there's the cost nobody tracks. The bigger house demands to be filled. The furniture that fit the old place looks small and lonely in new rooms. The extra bathroom needs everything a bathroom needs. One analysis of first-year ownership costs, including furnishings and renovations, exceeded Pastor Laut. Ling, the house raises the floor on everything around it, the neighborhood, the neighbors, the gravitational pull to match the landscaping and the kitchen renovation and the grill upgrade. Lifestyle inflation, wearing a hard hat. Now meet Tasha. She earns almost exactly what Marcus and Renee earn combined. When her income climbed, she didn't trade up. She stayed in a modest 3-bedroom, kept her payment well under a quarter of take-home, and automated the difference into index funds the day after every payday. Her kitchen has never been featured on anyone's feed. Her car is older. Her house is smaller. She will retire with more money than Marcus and Renee, not because she earned more, because she refused to let her home decide the size of her life. In year 1, the bigger house wins every visible measure. The housewarming, the curb appeal, the compliments. By year 5, Marcus and Renee feel the quiet tightening, the water heater, the deck resealing, the insurance renewal creeping upward, the retirement account thinner than it should be. Tasha's account has quietly crossed e-byte Ling. Nobody congratulates her. Nobody can see it. By year 20, Marcus and Renee have a beautiful home and a retirement account that wakes them at RAM. Tasha is sitting on a high 6-figure investment account climbing towards 7 with a paid-down home underneath it. She can retire early. She can help her kids without flinching. She has choices in every direction. From the street, Marcus and Renee still look like the ones who won. From the bank statement, it was never close. 2 arguments defend the upgrade, and both cost real money. First, the house is forced savings. There's a sliver of truth. Paying a mortgage does build equity, but forced savings at a terrible return is still a terrible return. In the early years of a 30-year loan, the overwhelming majority of every payment is bank interest, not principal. You're not saving, you're renting money at 500 Lodert Wove while calling the leftover sliver savings. Second, real estate always goes up. Strip out property taxes, insurance, maintenance, mortgage interest, and the 500 Lu transaction cost on the way out, and the inflation adjusted return on a typical American home is far thinner than the headline number suggests. Meanwhile, a bigger house ties up more capital to capture the same percentage appreciation while charging dramatically higher carrying costs throughout. Per dollar invested, the bigger house is a worse investment than the smaller one, a larger bet on the same horse at a worse price after paying a higher entry fee. And the wealth it does build is trapped. You cannot spend a kitchen. You cannot sell the spare bedroom to cover a medical bill. An index fund can be partially sold in an afternoon. A house must be listed, staged, shown, negotiated, and sold whole, usually at the worst possible moment with a slice handed to agents on the way out. Again, the smaller house was never the consolation prize. It's the whole strategy. Buy the house that fits the life you actually live, not the one you feel you're supposed to perform for other people. Run the real all-in number before falling in love with the listing. Mortgage plus taxes plus insurance plus an on-maintenance budget of E to 500R of value. If that figure crowds out meaningful monthly investing, the house is too big, regardless of what the bank approved. The bank profits when you borrow the maximum. Your job is to borrow the amount that leaves your future intact. Okay? When the raise lands, fight the reflex to immediately convert it into square footage, bank the difference, automate the gap before you can feel it, the way Tasha did, and let compounding turn your restraint into the kind of freedom a bigger house can never buy. Okay, the bigger house was never the reward you thought it was. Kendall, the reward is the freedom waiting on the other side of not needing it